This is the Purple Passion Project with host and clinical sexologist, Dr. Stacy Friedman. This is your go-to podcast for raw, real, and irresistibly juicy conversations about sex, intimacy, connection, and everything in between. Whether you're feeling a little stuck in your love life, curious about what turns you on, or just craving conversations that actually matter, you're in the right place. So now, please welcome the host of the Purple Passion Project, Stacy Friedman.
What do you get when you mix purple, passion, and permission to be your true self? This podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Stacy, and this is the Purple Passion Project, coming to you live and unfiltered. It's the show where we're talking about sex, intimacy, connection, everything underneath the surface, because let's be honest, small talk is boring and you're ready for the good stuff. So relax, drop your guard, get ready for truth, laughs, maybe a few gasps, and a whole lot of passion. And today I've got someone seriously fabulous with me, and her name is Julie Savitz. Welcome, Julie, to the show. I'm so excited to have you. Julie, hi. Julie is a certified health coach, life coach, divorce coach. She is the woman of all coaches, and she helps women not only get through divorce, but come out on the other side stronger, sexier, more unapologetically them. We're going to break down how to thrive emotionally, physically, and yes, sexually after heartbreak. So let's go and get started. How you doing, Julie?
That's a tall order.
It is, and you can do it, girl.
Wow, I'm so gonna do it. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. I should have worn purple.
It's okay. I get the hair
Okay,
going. We're all good.
okay. I
We're
have
all good.
purple underwear on. I have purple underwear on.
Perfect.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Is that the part of the show where I show it?
No, but maybe
Okay.
that's the next one.
Okay. Thank you. Stay
But
tuned.
for this part of the show, we get to ask you lots of great questions to help everybody who's watching. So many times after divorce, especially, so many people, especially women, just don't know how to feel again, how to live again, how to get healthy, how to feel desire. And so when women come to you after divorce, what is like usually the biggest surprise for them that it comes with their relationship? Like, what do they realize after their relationship with themselves? What is a surprise that they find out?
I think that so many women, they lose so much of themselves
Yeah.
in their marriage. They become a mother, they become a wife, they become a room mom, they become a grandmother. So they lose really track of who they are and what feeds their soul and really what brought them into the marriage in the first place. So women are always surprised. I say to them, what is it you want to do? And they just don't know. And these are women with graduate degrees and doctors and
Education.
lawyers before they became married, and they've just lost so much of themselves. And they're very much surprised about what feeds their soul at
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
age.
It's another stage in life that people have to sit and say, like, where am I going? What am I doing? And how do I heal? And so when you have people come to you and they're in the middle of a divorce, or they're already gotten divorced, and they're really trying to just reawaken who they are, their sensual side, their life in general, what do you feel? Do you see a connection between having them emotionally heal first after a divorce and then kind of have a reawakening? Do you see a connection between that emotional part and the sexual and intimate part?
Yes, yes, yes. Divorce itself, Dr. Stacy, in and of itself will tear you apart. There's forensic accountants and lawyers and settlement agreements. So that in and of itself takes up all of your time. And a lot of times women are angry and they've been cheated on. So they get so caught up in being angry that they lose track of who they are and their sexuality and even what they're looking for moving forward. So it's so hard for them to even see past all of that anger. They're so far ahead that they're missing what's in their periphery, which is all this
Right.
amazing stuff that could be happening.
Right.
So
No,
much
I
hate.
totally, Yeah, and I totally agree. And even when you have, I know I have a history of divorce, but we had a very, I would say, healthy divorce. And emotionally, even though we had a good relationship, divorce itself is emotional. And so even if you're getting along with your partner, which we got along pretty good actually, you're still, like you said, trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I find myself? I was a mom, I was a lover, I was a this, I was a that. And, I had this partner doing this with me and taking care of the financials while I was doing this. So how do you really find yourself? And so I think that a lot of women may get shut down after they get a divorce and just don't know what direction to go, and just feeling like empty inside and just like blah. And how do I move forward from this stage? And so when they come to see you after divorce, what are some things that they can do to just feel connected to who they are again, especially even just their body, because their body was so many times just for a partner, and or even not even for the partner. Many times some of these women don't even have intimacy or anything the last year or two, because that's kind of that progress. So what kind of advice do you give to help them kind of reconnect to themselves?
It's so interesting, Dr. Stacy, because relationships nowadays are so different. When the generation before us, they waited till they were married to have sex. Now we get
We don't
married
do
and
that anymore. Some
right, right,
people
right.
do,
You're feeling it out, right? You don't want
right,
to be with someone that you're not sexually connected to.
right.
Although I see with a lot of my clients, they hit a certain age and it was time for them to get married, and they hit, all of their friends were having kids and that was the right time to get married. So it wasn't necessarily the right person, and they never really got to explore that side of them. So you get married, and many of my clients, I'm sure you see it also, they haven't had sex with their partner for years
That's
sometimes.
exactly, that's what I was saying.
I more more than one client, a few, that have never had an orgasm with their partner, never, and they don't know how to give themselves pleasure. So they were so focused on either it was a chore and getting it over with. Very
Lots of
few
it
would,
is a chore. Yeah.
yeah. So if you're looking at it like a chore, I don't know about you, but when I do chores, I want them to be over. And it is that, what a shame. Sex should be appreciated and loved and learned together and talked about, and look into your partner's eyes and talk about what you like and talk about what you don't. So I think that's what's missing in so many relationships. And there's the analogy of the cup. Women in particular, where give, we give, we give, and all of a sudden you are coming into divorce or coming into a space in your life where your cup is empty. So you have nothing,
Nothing
you
left to
really
give.
have nothing left to give. So what, and I say to my clients, what are we going to put in there? And they don't even understand. They don't think women, they punish themselves, right? We punish ourselves. We it was a failed marriage, it was a failed this, and I'm losing my family and my children are going to be affected, and what am
Well,
I
it's
going to do?
guilt. There's a lot of guilt involved.
It's very, very scary for the two of us that have been in it, and we both have very amicable relationships. It is, your life is going to change. And I say sometimes, when we get married, we really just, sometimes people grow apart. Sometimes it's
Right,
not that big story. Sometimes people are just not compatible in the next stage of their life.
right,
So I speak to people all the time, do you even want to be with this person? And sometimes you're fighting for something that you don't even necessarily want, or it's not feeding your soul because you put yourself second or third or fourth behind your kids for so many years. So it's
right.
redefining who you are.
Right. And that's the important thing, is that, like you said, so many times people are putting themselves there and keeping them there for the kids and family, which, I know I tried for years, and many people try for years. Men, women, everybody tries, because the last thing you want to do is break up, a family. And so once you finally make that decision and have to move forward, and then I think, like, what you're saying is very important. And in order for people to kind of be reawakened, is they need to really explore themselves and learn about who they are in order to move forward. And I think that kind of comes to my next question is what is something that a woman can do, or even a man, but what is something that someone can do after divorce to thrive and not just like survive and get through a daily thing, where people actually want to go out, they want to go dating, they want to meet people and have a good time? Because after divorce, people are just going through the motions many times, and they're saying, like, I don't want to go this, I don't want to do dating, I don't want to blah, 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 I don't want to deal with it again, because they might have had a sour relationship. So what are some things that people can do to start really thriving, to move forward after divorce? And also when you're meeting people in the bedroom, because not everybody wants to date right away. Some people want to, friends with benefits after divorce. You don't want to have to deal with going back into a relationship. So give us some ideas of some things that you can do.
I think that there should be a process of women falling in love with themselves. What do you have to bring to the table? What do you have to offer?
Yeah.
Right? So you go into this next chapter and you get on dating sites and they're so awful, and you meet someone and you have a bad date, and then you say, I'm never going to meet someone. So it's really falling in love with yourself, because a man, you wake up with yourself, you go to bed with yourself, your finances, all of those things falls on each individual, the man too. So it's very much falling in love with who you are, what you have, taking control of the things that were out of control in your marriage, and really recognizing that you are about to enter, it's not obvious right away, into this amazing next chapter of your life. Some of us have, our kids have gone to college, and some of us have like a booty call, right? Like, I not me, but there were times in my life where I had partners, and they knew exactly what I wanted from them, right? They knew they were coming over, and I didn't want to
What it
talk
was
to you.
for.
We're never going to meet my children, and we were never going to be changing our relationship on Facebook to a couple. But at that time, you were serving a need for a woman. And that's also, women have needs. We've been shut down for so long. Women need, a lot of women, even to have that orgasm and to have that release and to feel that love, or to be hugged or touched. It relieves those amazing endorphins. I know you see it, Dr.
Right.
Stacy, that have been quieted for so long. So
Yeah.
that
And
is your time to go. It's go time.
yeah, and that's one thing that you were saying, like society, women have been taught so much to just sit back and not go and get what you want. And after divorce, I think one thing that's important is not only getting to know who you are, but being okay with finding pleasure, being okay with not just going out and having to have a relationship, and just being able to explore and learn. Because so many people have been in relationships or marriages for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and then they get divorced, and then they're like, okay, well, now what? I have never been with another man, or I haven't been with someone else in 15 years. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, well, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to be afraid to talk or touch or do anything. Go have a good time and be okay with just going out for pleasure. There's a double standard. Men do that all the time. And so as you get to know yourself, and as you get to learn your body and things like that, I think it's going to be very helpful. Just being able to move forward that way.
You're right. If you were a woman, you were a whore, and you were a slut, and there's all these roles, and it's just getting to know yourself and exploring what you want. How do you know what you want if you don't try certain things out? So, and
Exactly.
a lot of women know what they want. They're afraid to say it.
Right.
They're afraid to say it. They know what they want, but they just
Right.
afraid to say it.
Well, speaking of, we're getting ready to go on to our 2-minute break with our sponsors, but we want to talk about some bedroom confidence and some talk about body and how you feel about yourself. So we'll see you in 2 minutes, and we'll be right back with Julie, the coach.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
And welcome back. We're here with Julie, our health, life, and divorce coach. So we are going to be talking a little bit this time about bedroom confidence and just talk about our own bodies. But first, if anyone wants to call in and does have any questions for either I or Julie, definitely call us in. We'll get to you in the third and the fourth segments, so feel free to make a call. But in the meantime, one of the important things that we were talking about in the last segment is about trying to reinvent yourself and trying to, figure out who are we after divorce. And many times, a lot of people that I work with, I know have a hard time, just even when they're married, more or less with divorce, but body image. And so many women have either been badgered through their marriage or through their relationships, or, talked down to, and really lost a lot of confidence in who they are physically, sexually, intimately. And, after all these years, how can women reclaim some of their confidence after being just someone's wife and not this sexy woman who's out on the prowl? And how can we get women back out there to feel good about themselves?
That's a great question. And as you're asking the question, it is, I think social media and filters and Kim Kardashian and all of these people, like all of that is not real, right? It's
Right.
just a fake thing. It's just not everyone's getting their faces done and all of this. It's so hard to, and those people in my experience have little or no confidence because they keep wanting to change things. So you have cheese on your ass, or you have something, or your arm is like this. And a lot of women, you look at them and they might look pretty. They're feeling really ugly inside. It's so hard to tell from this how
Right.
someone is feeling inside. And I think social media has done such a bad job, and our children. And I think there's that high standard to live up to, because sexy is how you walk in a room. Sexy is how you look at someone. Sexy is how you listen to someone. It's how you're
Confidence
in
is
bed.
sexy.
Right. You give a good blowjob, maybe that's sexy, but it's also hugging and kissing and giving to your partner and speaking to your partner about what they think is sexy, and that real communication. But I really think social media has done such a disservice to men and women as to what is considered sexy, because what one person feels is sexy, another person might not. And we're getting
Absolutely.
older. It's so hard, right? I look in the mirror sometimes, but I'm sexy. You get now, ooh, you look good for your age. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
but
well,
it is,
yeah, I mean, a
yeah,
lot of it comes down to confidence. I know so many times I'll work with couples and they'll come in and, I have this woman that comes in and she walks, I'm thinking of one specific person, and she walks in and she's got this long, beautiful hair, perfect figure, adorable smile, just gorgeous. And she walks in and she's dressed adorable. And I was like, oh my God, this is the cutest person ever. She's so beautiful. And then when I do my one-to-ones, she's just like, I have no confidence. I feel fat. I feel ugly. I'm going to myself, what? Obviously they weren't divorced, but the partner was not, and not saying that you have to have the partner giving you all the affirmation, but the partner was not giving any affirmation towards her, and she was losing confidence, and she was trying to make that decision. Do I stay? Do I go? I feel crappy. And so, like you said, sometimes you would think someone would have the most confidence in the world because they're beautiful, but people don't think that of themselves many times. So I think that's so important to build that confidence and get women back out there to really believe that they're worthy no matter what they look like.
And you
Yeah,
could see it when you meet someone.
yeah.
We've been together, man, that she's fucking rocking it, right? She's
Yeah,
wearing
tits out,
her,
feeling good.
right,
Yeah.
tits out,
It's the
feeling good.
confidence.
It's confidence, and it
Yeah,
just it's like a light that certain women have around them. And this
right.
is what I tell my clients. I say, act as if, like, let's practice. You walk into
Pretend.
a room like you own that fucking room, right? And then, right, shoulders back, looking someone in the eye, even if you're not
Yeah,
feeling it. It's a
right.
learned thing. And a lot
It's
of
like
people,
fake it till you make it.
right. And a lot of women have been told they're fat or they're ugly or they're not pretty, or men are sitting with their wives looking at other women. And it is, a lot of women have been shot down, even these beautiful women.
Right,
So you start to believe it. You hear it over and over and over. We're only human. You really start to believe it. So it's telling yourself nice things. It's giving yourself that corny high five in the morning. It
right.
is it's believing in yourself.
Yeah. So, speaking of believing in yourself, how do you get women to actually believe in themselves? How do you help women with their health, with their bodies, to just believe that I am beautiful, I am sexy? And what role does their actual physical health play in finding that sexual confidence after divorce? What does that do? Because I know you work with health as well.
That's a great question. It is, you of course want to look a certain way on the outside, or you want to be. It's so funny. I ask people, we talk about goal weights. I'm not a big scale person. I'm more about getting people healthy. But a goal weight for almost every woman, I don't know why, is 145 pounds. That's where a woman wants to be,
That'd be
which
nice.
is which is always interesting. I ask, and they're always having chicken and broccoli for dinner. But that seems to be a kind of a goal weight. And what I say is, the scale, you bring the scale to the moon, it's going to say something else. A scale is important, and what people want to see the scale moving, but it's, how do you feel? How do you feel in your
How do you
clothes?
feel?
How does your skin look? What is your energy? How is your energy? And all of those things are connected to what you're putting into your body. But it is, the food and the nutrients and the protein and all of those things. And there is definitely a correlation. It's for me, it's a mind body finance, right? It's, you can't have one without the other. If your finances for a lot of my clients are out of control, it affects your health. And if your health is out of
Absolutely.
control, it affects your mental health. And if your mental health is out of whack, and this world's fucking crazy right now. So
It's about balance.
for someone to be really strong right now, either they're faking it, they've learned strategies. I like to give women a little bag. Here's a little bag for you to take with you. Because I can talk with women all day, but we can't be there all the time. As a therapist, what are you going to
Or
go to? What are
coach.
your triggers?
Yeah.
What are your triggers? So food tends to be control. When you are out of control, people either eat a lot of it or they starve themselves. It's a lot in the middle. And then what happens is, every woman's going to start a diet on Monday. Then Monday comes and goes and they eat an Oreo and they're like, fuck it, I'll eat all the Oreos.
I'll do
Then
it
they're going
next
to wait
Monday.
to do it next Monday. And then you're hiding behind your children in a photo. And then you're a disappointment. Then you tell yourself 5 pounds turns to 10, turns to 15. And a lot of women are just really not ready for that change. And I always say, you've done harder things. look at what's in front of you, whether it be a person, whether it be a meal, whether it be an environment. Is that something the healthy person would do? Not that everyone's perfect, but are you choosing healthy relationships, friendships as you get older? They change. They
Oh,
change.
absolutely.
So important to your health. Who are you surrounding yourself? Your sleep. So all of these things kind of marry each other to make this whole person.
And
It's
I agree,
really,
sleep is important too, because I know the less sleep that I get, the more hungry I am. And I know that when I had gone through my divorce, I all I wanted to do was eat, because like you said, it was one thing that I had control over, but yet I didn't have control over it
mhm.
because I had no other choice at that time, which I thought all I needed to do was eat to feel better. And so it is a struggle when you're going through a lot of, like you said, stresses. Either people are either eating too much or they're not. And so that's that tricky thing is trying to, like you said, making healthy choices. Even if it's just like, one of the things I would do is I started just drinking water. I drink water all the time. And that's something easy that I was able to do. And if you can just do one little thing at a time, I know that's something that maybe when you're going through the divorce or after divorce, you don't have to think so much. You just choose one thing at a time and then it helps. But as you mentioned, everything works together. And if you're
Yeah.
not healthy, if you're not, working financially, if you're not having a balance, it makes things tricky for sure.
As we get older, Dr. Stacy, too, I mean, it is, I am seeing, I'm 53, some of my friends are getting sick, and all of these, it really gets more important as you get older and as parents. I think our children
Yeah.
are watching us. I know we speak about you and your daughter, how it is, they're watching what we're doing, and it's
Right.
because food is good. Food is good. Some people, I know you see it too, turn to sex. They start having sex because that feels good, and they
Right.
just
Yeah.
a need of
It's
that
some type of
feeling.
a compulsion, or not an addiction, but a compulsion is like, you need to do this to feel better about something. So, yeah, it's definitely important to have health, and it's great that you are there to help people not only after the divorce, but also to find their health, which is great.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people after divorce, they might even have, starting to date. And so, what are maybe some myths that you have of post-divorce dating that you wish we could just toss in the trash and get rid of? Do you have some things that people say when they see you for divorce coaching?
I will say there are it's a learned thing. You have to look at dating, and I don't know what happened. People stopped doing setting people up. I don't know why. Setups are not a thing that's happening.
No, because it's
I don't think
online. Everything's online.
everything's online, and I met your brother online, which ended up working out fabulously. Yes. But you have to look at it like a little bit like a game. You're going to go and you're going to get to know someone. I don't No one was coming to knock at my door. And so I really put myself out there with zero expectations because I was making my own money and I had my own business. And I think a lot of women come off desperate when they go from one relationship and start trying to fill that void with something else. But
Right.
dating can be really, really fun. It could be a joy. It really can.
Right. Well, I think what you said about expectation, I think that is something that, when you're talking about post-divorce dating, that people think that you're going to go online, you're going to meet somebody, you're going to go out, it's going to be really nice. And I think that that is kind of a myth, that people think that they're going to find someone so quickly, and it doesn't always happen that way. And people need to kind of put their expectations in check, and be able to say, okay, I went out with this person, it didn't work, but I had fun. What did I learn from it? Let's go out again. And you can't have somebody just constantly expecting so much from a date. Oh, that person didn't call me in 2 days, I'm done with them. People have lives. Give people chances. I think that that expectation really can cause a lot of people to not want to get back out there and date, because I remember I was going through the divorce, and I started going out, and I had my kids for the weekend, and one guy was like, well, can't you get a babysitter? I'm like, I just told my kids 2 weeks earlier that their parents are getting divorced, I'm not giving up my kids to a babysitter. Oh, well, da 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 da, and the guy was mad at me. So I was like, okay, bye-bye.
Right.
And you just
Yeah.
have to move forward. There'll be somebody else. And then I found
There's
somebody
always
else.
somebody else. There's all and women, we want to fix people. I think as you get older, women start to realize you're not fixing anyone. And it is like you said, it's an ex-wife, it's kids, in dating in
Life.
general, it's life. And there is I just did a podcast about this. When you do match with someone, there's a way to see who they are, or call a friend, or go out with them, or kind of see if you have mutual friends. You could look up their phone number. You could see
That
people's
helps for
blood
sure.
types. That, yes, there's a detective way behind it, but it comes down to chemistry, right?
Yeah.
There are many dates I've gone on and the guys seemed amazing. And I think I'm going to write a book about that one day. And there are some real people out there, and they all want to send you a picture of their dick. Like right away.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
hey,
Well,
glad we met. Here's my
well,
dick. I'm like,
speaking of dick pics, we're going to get ready to take a 2-minute break because I really want to get into the next section to talk about dating in your 40s and 50s. So stay tuned so we can talk about some of the fun stuff we were just talking about. And we'll see you in 2 after a word from our sponsors. Thank you.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
And welcome back to the Purple Passion Project. We have Julie, our health, life, and divorce coach, here with us today. And if you just missed the last 10 seconds of the last segment, we were talking about dating and dick pics. But this is dating after divorce. You're dating in your 40s, 50s, and it is not what it used to be, for sure. And according to what you have seen, what are some things that are different nowadays, and how can women be empowered rather than exhausted from getting these pics, from just weeding through people that are actually quality versus quantity? So what is different, and how can women be empowered and not exhausted?
There must be a group of women that want to see dicks. Dicks are
I haven't
great.
met them
Dicks
yet.
are great. I love a dick, but I don't want to
But
see
when you
your
know the
dick. I just met
person,
you. Yeah, or not,
right?
too, sometimes. But it's not all the time. I mean, let's say I've seen 10 dicks in my life. 8 of them look very similar. One is like, sorry, I've only
No, I'm
seen
talking about
8.
myself.
I've only seen 8 dicks in my life, but they look the same. They're not the most beautiful thing, and they're nice. They're fun and nice. But there must be a group of women that want to see it as a prerequisite or something. I like to wait. And a lot of women our age, a lot of my clients, it's so interesting. If they really like a guy, they won't go fuck him right away. Like they'll wait. Like if they don't really like a guy, they'll be like, oh, I don't like this guy. I could take him home and be rid of him. But if they really like a guy, they kind of wait and see and make that, more special. So I know those are some people I know. But it
No, but
is,
for some
it
people, they want to make sure that they feel safe and secure. It's something that they want, and they sometimes would feel like, oh, if I do it, then the guy will never call again. And so I guess that's sometimes tricky at our age. You've been with one person for however many years, 10, 15, 20 years after marriage, and then you go and get divorced and go out dating. It is different. So people don't know exactly what to do. Do I sleep with them on the first date? Do I not? I always want to know what I'm getting. So I don't have
yeah.
rules. Whatever I feel good with at the time is what I would have done or what I did. So what is different now is just besides online. I mean, how are people meeting people?
Going to piggybacking on what you said, I don't think there's rules. I think it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Right.
I think that women really in our generation speak up like, hey, let's get out of here, right? I don't know how many dates I went on with your brother, and I kept saying, dude, you keep taking me places that are far from your house. I didn't really understand it. We were
Bring me
going to
home,
dinner.
baby.
This is weird. Like we're nowhere near your house or my house.
It's called being a gentleman.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Yes, he is a gentleman. But it is, I think women have more of a voice. I think
Right.
also I see it a lot with the online dating and my clients and the breakup. I think there's less ghosting. I think a lot of women, I work with them when it doesn't work out, whether it's date 1 or date 4, or date 6, or it's not someone you're compatible with down the road. Because I think at our age, we're looking for someone to grow old with.
Future. Right.
So future.
Yeah.
So hey, you know what? You're really great, but I just don't think we're compatible for the future. And I know as a woman, it's just about being honest. Like if it's not a match, it's not a match. It's not that big a deal, right? It is just being honest and move on and learn from it and just know that wasn't your person. Because when it's your person, this is old school. I think it's a feeling. It's hard
You
to
feel it.
say.
It's just a connection you can't explain. And that's why when people say it's not you, it's me, it's just because that
Right?
person might be a good catch. That person might be a good person, but you're just not feeling that energy with them, that synergy connection.
You're aligned. You're aligned on
Right,
so many.
right,
I will say my last relationship, um, very nice guy, very sexually compatible, but didn't want a future. He didn't want a future, and I went through menopause, and he was nowhere to be found. And these are the things I was watching as I got older. So it is now you learn from a lot from relationships, Dr. Stacy, what you don't want if you open your
right,
eyes to it. And there's always signs, right? So men are smart, but people always show you who they are. And
right.
it's us kind of opening our eyes to viewing that and seeing it and determining whether that's something we want to move forward with.
Right. And that's why it's important if you are going to go dating to not feel like, oh, well, that person didn't call me. Well, it's because they're leaving the space open for you to find someone that you're meant to be with and not worry about it. Not to, so when we talk about empowering women and not being exhausted, it's exhausting when you're analyzing every single situation, every single phone call, every single date. Just go and have fun with it. And I think what's important is to be able to have your clients or your patients, whatever, to be clear on what they're wanting from the future, and saying, okay, well, this didn't work in my marriage. What do I want now moving forward? Emotionally, intimately. So when you're talking to people that come to you after divorce and they want to start dating, how do you get them to find that clarity? What do you have certain exercises or certain goals or talking points that you get them to kind of figure out, to be clear on what they really want?
We talk a lot about our love languages. This
Yeah.
is, some people want to feel safe. I know for me, I want to feel safe. Some people want compliments. And it's having those real
The words of
conversations,
affirmations.
the
Yeah.
words of affirmation, right? It is knowing what you want and knowing what feeds your soul and knowing what the other person needs, and just kind of feeding into that and knowing what you need, and not like you said earlier, it is, I could want something, but it's, again, it's an ex-wife, it's someone coming out of another relationship, it's someone whose kids are going to college, it's someone that doesn't speak to their ex-wife. So a lot of it is kind of, it's a living, moving thing, but knowing what you need and being honest. And I will tell you, your brother and I often, we go to dinner and he'll say to me, Julie, what is it that I could be doing better? And we talk about it and we're honest. I would like for you to
Yeah.
do this. And he'll say to me, and a lot of women get uh, uncomfortable when they're not doing something right away. But how are you supposed
Well,
to know
women,
unless,
men, everybody, you feel
yeah,
like you're being criticized, but I always try to tell my clients, I said, this is not criticism. This is just a way to help improve. I said, if you're not open and allowing yourself, not yourself, but your partner to share, what can you do different? What can you do better? What can you do, period? And have your partner answer, and then you be offended by it. It could be maybe the way the partner's talking too, but it's important to be able to accept that information as growth, as way to grow. My husband every single day asks me, what can I do for you today? And that's what I use for my clients, is when you're talking to somebody, when you're dating somebody, when you're getting to know somebody, you always want to know that they're important to you, that they're in your head, that you're thinking of them and things that can make their life better and easier as well. So I'm glad that you guys do that, as too.
yeah, it's really, it's and it is sometimes uncomfortable. It's interesting because it's uncomfortable, because
Well, because no
I
one
would,
wants to hear their faults.
no, and then we work on it, and then we get back in conversation. How did I do? How did that make you feel? And it's that, to me, sexy. A man that says to me, "Are you happy? What could I be doing better? What could," and great in bed too, which is great. But it's that outside. How often are people having sex in your relationship? A bulk of
Right.
your time is here, not here.
Right. And that love language, like you said, is important to help, the people that come to you to figure out, okay, well, what do I really want for my future? And the main thing is figuring out, what do I need for myself to feel loved, to feel connected? And the love languages, if the people out there don't know, you have the acts of service, which are helping to do things, maybe taking your partner's car out to get washed, doing the dishes, laundry, whatever that is. You have quality time, spending time with your partner, physical touch. Majority of men like physical touch, but then again, there's a lot of women do too. I know that that's one of mine. Words of affirmation is showing signs of appreciation and just thankfulness, and telling the partner that, oh, you look beautiful, you look handsome, you're sexy, your ass looks good, whatever. And then you have the, oh God, I always forget the fifth one when I'm talking about. Um, um, Quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts. And
Yes,
then gifts is, some
yes.
people like to be bought, well, you came home empty handed. Where's my card? Where's my chocolate? Where's my flowers? So those are very important for many people to just say, I feel loved when I get these. So when I went out after divorce and I looked for someone who gave me the things that I know I needed to feel loved. So that was a great suggestion for people. And there's a book out there, Love Languages, by Chapman, and he's the one that kind of coined it all. And it's a really good book that people can look at to see what their love language might be.
And I will say this, because I know you and I know your partner. You guys have so much fun. I think fun is lost a lot of times. And I think a lot of people start doing the things that they were doing at the beginning of a relationship. It's so important to remember, but it's just really having fun and laughing at yourself and laughing with each other. And
We laugh. Yeah,
yes, you do.
laughing. It's 24/7 is laughing at the most stupidest things, but you're missing the playfulness and everything that you need in a relationship. And so I think that it's important to have the playfulness, the flirtiness, and that's what we do every single day. We're going to be going into the next segment here in just a minute, and we want to talk a little bit about, trying to get people to have permission to thrive and permission to move forward. So we'll see you in 2 minutes after the next sponsor break.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
And welcome back to the Purple Passion Project with our guest, Julie. Come online, Julie. There you are.
It's not a time I show my purple underwear?
No, not. We're going to skip that till later.
Okay.
Anyway, next time.
Because I'm not wearing underwear.
Next show. It'll be the next show. We'll get you on again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we've had such great conversation about, women and divorce and sex and intimacy and just, health and all that. And, a lot of times people think when they get into their 40s, 50s after divorce that, older women shouldn't like sex, should give up on sex, should not need sex. I'm going through menopause. I don't want sex. What do you want women to know after divorce, how sex can be in their 40s and 50s and beyond?
It is amazing. Sorry. It is amazing because I personally, and most women my age, know your body. Like, don't like that. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to have a fake orgasm. I'm not going to tell you I like it if I don't. And it's just really having to the left, to the right, because it should be, you're showing your love for someone if you're in love with that person, or it should certainly be enjoyable. And orgasm should be the pinnacle, but sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes it's just being intimate with someone, just that real communication. I say sometimes, I'm sorry, I'm dating your brother, I'll say it again, but for me, for sex and for women in general, it is a vacation. It's a free vacation you could go on. You close your eyes.
Supposed to clear your head and just get you into a place of relaxation and stress-free zone.
It's not like that for younger women. They're worried about how they're sitting and how they're staying and their tits and one nipple's bigger
and how they're hanging. Right. Yeah. And so you, as, not only a divorce coach, but health coach, can help people feel better about their bodies, can help people, like you said, speak about what they need and what they want and get empowered to to feel good about who they are at this age, because there are many people that are nervous, but you could reinvent yourself. Forget about what your last relationship was like. You're going into this new divorced stage of dating where nobody knows you. So you could be whoever you want to be. Pretend you're this magical, goddess, and you will be that. And so I
Yes.
love that, that's the age where you could just be who you are and not worry about shit.
Yeah. It's
you know,
it's fun. Be fun. And some of us, our
right,
kids are out of the house, and it's a new stage. It's really just beginning. And especially when you're trying things with new people as you come out of your divorce. I have women stand in front of the mirror. They don't like
yeah,
it naked. It's very, very, very hard for them to
right,
say nice things about themselves. And they're beautiful. Every woman is beautiful.
yeah.
I have
No
women that
matter what they look like.
no, I have clients that have a double mastectomy, and they look at their bodies and they say, "Wow, I am amazing. I am
Right,
beautiful. This is me." Again, going back to it's not all this; it's your heart for
right,
so many. Yeah,
right. So when the women
recon-
say it's too late for them, it's not too late. Do you agree?
it's too late if you think it's too late. Yeah,
Well, there you go. That's the
to
mindset.
if you're not open to understanding that it's just it's a new chapter. And we are
Right,
living so much longer now, and there's so many stresses. A lot of women our age, our parents are aging, or we've lost our parents, and it's an awakening for many women that we're not going to be here forever.
right.
So it
Now's
really
the
is
time.
now. If not now, when? That's
Right,
really.
right. Yeah. Well, I want you to finish this sentence. And after this, then we're going to hear a little bit about how everyone can find you. But thriving after divorce looks like blank.
Okay, so this is what I think, and bear with me, folks. I think it's like a kaleidoscope. You used to have with that little kaleidoscope, and you would turn it, and it would be different colors. And I see a lot of women because that's how you see the world. That's your eyes. And everyone has their own kaleidoscope. And some women, they put it on something dark and there's nothing to see. But as you lift it and as you gain that confidence, and in different lights, it looks different. And yours would be purple, Stacy, for sure. And it would be all these amazing colors, but a lot of women aren't turning it. So life after divorce is going to allow you to turn it and see and view, and it's going to be different each days. And if you like a certain setting, stay there. But every day it's going to be a little bit different, and it is what you make of it. We all have
That
that
sounds
tool.
beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
really
you. I'm
nice.
gonna get
Very
kaleidoscope.
creative.
Thank you.
So, people want to be able to find you and work with you as either a life, health, or divorce coach. How is the best way that they can find you and connect with you?
Okay, my name on Facebook is Julie Cooper Savitz. I also have a podcast called It's Not Over on YouTube that I just started. Thank you. That I just started. Really, it's not over for women, not necessarily divorce, just getting older. It's a new chapter of your life. So it's like you see on the screen at julie.savitz, and it's called It's Not Over. And I would love you guys to join. And I'm starting a little girl gang. So I'm inviting all of you ladies to join us.
And I'll be on your podcast as well. So that's going to
I'm
be
so
fun
excited.
too. Yes,
Yes.
so that's great. I appreciate you coming on. And
Thank
that is it for this episode of the Purple Passion Project, where we keep it real with just the right amount of spice. And if today stirred something in you, let it. And if you love what you heard, subscribe to see more. Julie Savitz, thank you so much for bringing your honesty, your humor, and that fierce coach energy to today's show. And for every woman who's been through the fire and is ready to rise hotter than ever, you're proof that healing is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a whole new delicious chapter. And as your podcast says, it's not over. To our listeners, don't forget to follow me at Dr. Stacy Friedman. And you want more inspiration and real talk, you could find it all there. Until next time, stay curious, stay turned on, and never apologize for wanting more. We'll see you next week on our Purple Passion Project podcast. Have a good night. Thank you.
This has been the Purple Passion Project with host Dr. Stacy Friedman. Tune in each week as Stacy breaks down walls, busting myths, and gives you permission to want more. With no shame, no filters, and definitely no small talk. Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. Powered by B2 Studios.